How about now? How about now? How about now? All right, I know that you can't hear me. I just want to see if any of you can hear me now. 5 by 5. Good now. Microsoft updated my computer. And wow, every update from Microsoft now, they change things. These things, that screen that you're looking at, you don't own it. Microsoft owns it. And they change things in it. And I'm tired of it. Forever Flowers 111111111. I don't get it, but hello, Blues Girl 65. Hey. Julie, Phil Strange, Barb in Ohio. Hello. And L78 and Marty Lauderdale. I thank you very, very much for showing up. I don't know if Lindy London is in the house. She may come in the house. Miss my comment to her, which was, if Lindy London, if you could email me at neverlosetruth@gmail. So I have your email address because I have a question to ask of you. And hello, Donna Davidson and Etena and Rick Yorkin and At a Time, Ezra, Patricia White, I'm a Skeptic, Wonder Why, Cyberistic Gal, My Girl 67, Super Painting 62, Oracle 11, and had some very strange audio things occur on the live stream last night. AJ206, hello. Under Nature. Troy McCulley. Whoa. Okay. Phil Strange. T. Lamb. Catherine Owens. Chill X Nick. Hey. Rage Against the Machine. I don't know if any of you... Look, the audio stuff happening, I don't have any control anymore. I try to keep the videos that I play very low to the point where I have to put in effort to listen. But check this out. This was sent to me by Taylor News, and she captured it, and this is what the audio was doing last night. As they probe fires, apparently. Oh, let's see. A minor 1 in Roosevelt Island resulted in a power. And earthquake. I don't know what is happening with the audio. It is that for sure was not me turning my audio on and off as I was speaking, but it wasn't just Taylor News, but it was all, somebody left me a comment underneath the live stream last night saying that the audio was cutting off a whole lot. So Um, so at a time, you're saying no sound now. Give it up. Yeah. All right. So, Grout sees what you won't. The Hypocrites Matrix. Marsha. Jay Northrup. Jay Wooms. Hi. Hugs mean nothing without true intent. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, things are not good. Things are really not good. Sorry to say, but it is the truth, and I forgot to set up for you. I apologize for that. You did, Marty? You heard that last night a handful of times. Wow. I don't know what's going on, but YouTube sucks. YouTube, I posted, I also, unbelievably, all right, so I get Never Lose Truth back. For some odd reason, YouTube decides, after like 2 years, we've reviewed your channel and we have decided to reinstate it. Oh, okay. But there was pretty much on a daily basis, I was getting YouTube notifications that they were taking down so many videos from Never Lose Truth for medical misinformation. I mean, from 5 to 10, sometimes 15. I'd see YouTube, taking down these. I got a community guideline strike. I really feel like somebody is messing with me. I really do. That every day it's something. And, Twitter, if you don't buy your blue check where you can post longer videos, and they are purchased, then just for the people who go on Twitter, like myself, who didn't purchase a blue check, the amount of time that Twitter or Z or X, whatever, allows you to post a video is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's it. Which is fine. But now, they reduced my time to 1 minute and 40 seconds. And I forgot about it, and I tried to post the video that I posted on Rumble today, and I got that, your video is too long. Just 1 minute and 40 seconds. Why? How did that happen? I've never had any kind of problems with Twitter, so I find that strange. But today I wake up to a community guideline strike on Never Lose Truth. Now, I've posted very short videos on Never Lose Truth since it's been back. And I got a community guideline strike on a video that I was sure I wouldn't get one. But I got one. And it really leaves you feeling like you can't post anything anymore. I see people posting, I see people talking pretty much as I am, and they're still fine. I don't know what the hell is going on, but this is what I woke up to. I put a video of a ship burning in the Red Sea. War expanding, missile strike on British tanker off coast of Yemen. We've reviewed, I hit submit appeal, and now they don't even let you write your argument. Now it's just hitting submit appeal, and that's the submission. I mean, it is. Your channel has lost access to advanced features. The community, we have to keep our community safe. We limit some of our more powerful features to channels who have built and maintain a positive channel history or who have provided verification. As of now, your channel doesn't have sufficient channel history. It doesn't. Never Lose Truth. There's over 1,000 videos. And this may have happened because your channel did not follow our community guidelines. Tell me what the hell these community guidelines are, and then I can follow them. But when you don't allow people to know why you keep getting hit, why you keep getting your channels taken down, maybe that's a problem, YouTube. Perhaps it's your problem. So now, just because, there's a disconnect with my mouse, so let's get that going. All right, yeah, neat, isn't it? Don't I post neat live streams? So, what was the, where is it? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Okay. Yeah, I hit submit appeal. We're reviewing your appeal. We'll send you an email within 72 hours. They sent it within 5 minutes. Nope. I'm afraid, yeah, community guidelines. It was a 30-second video of a ship burning, and it was misinformation. So what I am telling you, this is very weird. I'm clicking on, and it's not coming up. Okay, so here, how this impacts your channel. You won't be able to do things like get higher daily limits for live streams, embed live streams, pin comments, add external links to your video descriptions. Are you kidding? How to restore the access, build positive channel history by following our community guidelines. So when I read that, and all these people telling me, oh, I'm so negative and you're so hopeless, I feel like it's a personal thing that YouTube got me on that. Build a positive channel history. So I'm just going to be posting when my week punishment is up. I can't post now on Never Lose Truth. This is so bizarre that they reinstated me only to hit me with so many medical misinformations, and now I can't post because I apparently violated community guidelines. They've taken away advanced features, so now I can't do live streams on Never Lose Truth. And how can I get that back? All right, well, see, this is another thing. I mean, the Microsoft update it's really pissing me off. So I have to build a positive channel history and provide video or ID verification for quicker access. YouTube really sucks. So I am going to be posting videos on Rumble, inching my way off YouTube, because it's just, you never know. You never know. And I don't like not knowing. And I don't like having to constantly edit my thoughts before I speak. So it's just too much. It's become a real hassle. But they don't even let you know what you've done. That's the really weird part. So, YouTube very shortly will be finished. And I saw a tweet from Libs of TikTok. And she tweeted out how she was banned from Facebook. And she said, this is the year censorship is going to become really, like, at our throats. It will be very obvious and no one will do anything about it. Nothing. The loss of freedom of speech means you're a tyranny. Welcome to the new US of A, which arrived years ago, but people just don't notice it. You ain't living in America anymore. You're not living in the country you think you're living in. And a whole lot, even the New Way crowd, still believe that we're living pretty much in the same country. No, we're not. It's been taken over. It was taken over. Well, we know that it was taken over like 100 years ago, but hey. Little by little, they just take over more. They subtract our rights. Very upsetting. Very upsetting. Everybody should be upset about this, but let's start here. Real Fishing Life. And I will post the link. You can check out the ingredients, but don't worry. That's all just conspiracy theory. What you saw that plane doing, that was just water vapor, okay? It was just water vapor. Don't you worry. And here, appeals court deals blow to California City's gas stove ban. Oh no, people are going to be very, very upset. A ruling preventing a ban proposed by the city of Berkeley, California, on new natural gas hookups from going into effect. Good. Good. Because you know, all of those who are gung-ho with banning gas stoves, they will have gas stoves. They just don't want you using them. And good for the German farmers and truckers. All eyes on Germany. So they are not going for the federal government's plan to cancel agricultural diesel, cut vehicle tax exemptions, and increase truck tolls and carbon taxes. Yeah, this is what you do when you care. And I'm going to play this. This is a very old video. Did you know that in Russia microwave ovens were banned in 1976 because of their negative health consequences? Oh, really? But the ban was lifted, perestroika, in the early 90s when the New World Order henchmen's took over.
How can people get a hold of these energy weapons? You know, the government has all the energy weapons. Nobody has energy weapons. Well, guess what? If you have a 1,200-watt microwave oven in your home and you peel the side of the oven open, which I had a case where these people did that. They were got into a conflict with their neighbors. And what they did is they peeled the microwave open on the side, and then they went, and this is a diagram that you can see on the internet, and they faced this weapon through the walls. And microwaves go right through the walls like they weren't there. So they radiated the next apartment and the next two apartments down. Each apartment, the people were getting sicker and sicker. And after I did this story, I talked about it on Coast to Coast. I had these people call me up and say, well, can you send me the plans? Oh, man, I tell you, and it fries you what it does. And first of all, let me just say something about microwave. Isn't it a little odd? They say don't even operate the microwave or don't even stand near close to the microwave when it's operating because it's unhealthy.
Viewers out there, to let you guys know how microwave radiation works in comparison to Apple's new AirPods Pro. I'm right next to the microwave and look at it. 300 to 400 milliwatts per meter squared. All right, there you go. Right there, 450 milliwatts meter squared, almost 500, and that's a centimeter away. I'm going to put it really close, and it's broke the meter. So if you look on WHO's website, the World Health Organization, in public exposure limits, maximum public safety exposure, it has microwaves to go up to 0.5 watts, which is 500 milliwatts. So the highest amount of radiation this fella could leak is 500 milliwatts. And AirPods Pro is designed to go between your ears. It's going similar levels to a friggin' microwave on full blast. So you have to be like this. This is life with an AirPods Pro.
Well, here you got this Klystron tube that's in it, and what it does is it puts 2.4 gigahertz into the food, and it vibrates the molecules at this frequency. And so once the food comes out, it's secondary emission. The heat coming off the food is 2.4 gigahertz. And then you take this food and you throw it down your throat into your digestive tract. Number 2 cause of death in America. First is heart attack. What's the second one? Digestive tract cancer. 1980, when I did the research, and there's a doctor called Dr. Herzl that did the original research on it. It was out of Sweden because that's where the original microwaves came from. And he did the research and he found it was terrible for rats. I mean, it was horrible for everything. The original microwave company was thinking he'd come up with a great report. He says, "Look at this, it's killing my rats." And they said, "Oh, well, thank you for the report. That's all we need. We'll take the report now." But he ended up releasing the report and they put him in prison. The report's still around. And so what happens is microwave vibrates molecules in a whole different way than human beings have been eating food for the billions of years we've heated over a fire. It's a whole different dynamic. And when I read all the information myself back in 1980, I lifted my microwave up and threw it in the dumpster. And
it is what everybody should do. But I have no choice now. Living in a motorhome. I love it. Of course I do have a choice. Maybe never heat. I hardly eat anyway. But there are some things. I'm not using that stove. It's such a pain. Everything is a pain in the ass here. Everything. Making the bed. getting changed in a closet where you have to sit on the corner of the bed, lean back, open the closet, everything. I can't stand it. But I've used the microwave, I think, 3 times, and I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I've been watching you quietly for years, since Kafka Winston World. Wow. Aztec Warrior? Aztec Warrior. Wow. Well, hello. It's been a while. Glad you're here. And at a time, when you write Rumble isn't the answer, then what is the answer? Tell us what the answer is at a time, please. Okay. So, yeah, I'll post the link to this. It's, I don't know if you want to circulate it or whatever you do with the information you happen upon. This is on stopthecrime.net, Odyssey channel, An Invisible Threat, Dangerous Microwaves. Okay, it's a 1 hour and 11-minute video, which I will post the link. But I think at this point, you know, I was amazed because people that I was meeting who had, you know, the flip top phones like I do, recently gave it up and bought a smartphone. I don't understand a whole lot of the awake. The use of a weapon, and that smartphone is a mighty powerful weapon used against you. Used against you. You know, even with this, I put this speaker on and hold it out here. As it is, I don't like the setup that I have here. I don't like the Wi-Fi. No, I can't get rid of it. And I can feel myself literally being affected by it all. Hi. Bookend is here. Hi, Bookend. Come on in. So I'm going to play some of this video. Very, very dangerous what we've got going in our environment, in our hands, you know. Here you go.
There have been stories about what's been happening to people who work at the American Embassy in Moscow. The stories concern radiation. First, it was said the Russians were either bugging or jamming embassy intelligence equipment, and that they were using microwaves to do that. And that was getting embassy people sick.
2 American Embassy employees in Moscow may be suffering from cancer of the lymph glands, and that Ambassador Walter Stessel is suffering from pernicious anemia.
The Soviet Union has admitted that some radiation exists, but the government newspaper Izvestia dismissed it as ordinary, non-dangerous electromagnetic activity, possibly caused by the embassy.
There is no reason to believe that those microwaves have caused any illness, but U.S. personnel are concerned over published reports that the microwaves may have caused cancer in a few cases.
Soviet technicians say radioactivity levels in the U.S. Embassy are at better than safe levels.
The State Department is considering taking electronic eavesdropping equipment off the Moscow embassy roof so the Russians will stop using microwaves to try to jam it.
Izvestia said reports that the radiation was caused by Russian snooping devices are an invention with a foul smell. Tornadoes last night and today killed 3 persons in Arkansas and
I'm holding here a measuring instrument, and from the readings we can say that the microwave radiation in this room is, I would say, in biblical proportions or astronomical proportions. It's approximately 1 million billion times above natural background, which we had just 50 or 100 years ago. So the radiation levels nowadays are enormously high compared to what cells have been developed in.
They are not part of the normal universe. That is a completely new type of radiation. The beginning of the 1980s, very few were electrosensitive. But today it's well over 10%, I think, and the trend is pointing at close to 50% will have one or the other type of sensibility within the next 5-10 years.
Les parlementaires conscients de ça et la commission qui défend le business.
How independent are the international organizations that are supposed to protect us?
I'm going to put the link in again, and you can check out the whole documentary on how we harm our own selves knowingly. And, you know, I want to thank the subscribers who send along videos and articles to me. Yeah, Paige and Marty and Kristen and Taylor News and others, but you know, I click on it and I'm watching it and I'm like, this country of ours, man, has been so creepy for so long, and there's so many creepy things in it that we don't even know. So how many of you knew about this?
Y'all thinking about damn time. No, you probably weren't thinking that, were you? You're probably thinking, JT, that was a weak pun. And maybe you're right. But you might have been thinking, the Hoover Dam. So what, JT? It's a hydroelectric dam. So what? It blocks the Colorado River and creates Lake Mead. So what? And I'm going to show you so what. It's more than what it seems. Let's take a look. This is what? Yeah. Did you guys know that there was creepy angels on top of the Hoover Dam? Sitting on weird black cubes? Yeah, that's strange, right? What are they doing on top of the Hoover Dam? Maybe we should take a closer look at one of them. Yeah. That's weird, right? That's kind of ominous looking. Sinister even. What is that doing on top of the dam? Maybe we should look at some more pictures for some context, shall we? Yeah, okay, so there's a compass with astrology. I know what y'all are thinking about damn time.
And it's quite true. You know, I went over to images and the Hoover Dam Restoration Project. Yeah, isn't one of these dams the Hoover Dam that a whole lot of people were talking about it collapsing? It's just creepy crap. Look at this. How unbelievably weird. Yep. And on the black cube. Okie dokie. Got a weird ass country. Sick with COVID and the flu. Double infections hit California hard. Okay. Keep your eye on mainstream media and what they're telling you, because mask mandates for hospitals. Los Angeles County reinstates mandate for staff and patients and visitors at licensed healthcare facilities, hospitals. Oh, what fun. And other hospitals. I know in Boston they have the mandate going, Massachusetts hospitals, other hospitals, and whoa, we can't get out of the trap that they laid for us. I am looking at one hell of a lithium sky. Wow. Alrighty. I wish the camera could reach outside, but it can't reach. Pentagon's extremism in our ranks. Anybody remember this? I remember it. The propaganda coming out of the Pentagon about the extremism. Well, recall 2021 when the Biden FBI deployed counter-terrorism resources against concerned parents who showed up at a school board meetings. General Mark Milley told Congress that he wanted to understand white rage. I remember. Do you? 1 month after an enraged father was dragged out of a Loudoun County, Virginia school board meeting after his daughter was raped by a transgender boy in the girls' bathroom, which the school board then covered up. Okay. And the father, yeah, definitely had rage because the school board was covering it up. Okay. That's what happens when you love your daughter. In December of 2021, the Pentagon furthered the white rage narrative, warning that extremism within the ranks was on the rise, which would require detailed new rules to prohibit service members from engaging in certain activities. The new policy laid out in detail the banned activities, which range from advocating terrorism or supporting the overthrow of the government to fundraising or rallying on behalf of an extremist group or liking or reposting extremist views on social media. And it turns out it was all bullshit. Yeah. Good news, the U.S. military isn't packed with violent extremists. Oh. After reports that some service members participated in the January 6 riot, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered an independent study to get greater fidelity on extremism in the ranks. The think tank tasked with the report, the Institute for Defense Analyses, found no evidence that the number of violent extremists in the military is disproportionate to U.S. society. Well, they could twist that around. A review of Pentagon data suggested that fewer than 100 substantiated cases per year of extremist activity by members of the military in recent years. Now, if we were to analyze the activity, I would venture to guess that the number would even be lower. The prevalence of extremist and gang-related activity that are reflected in court-martial opinions is limited to fewer than 20 cases since 2012. They had this report, but mainstream media was hyping up the Pentagon, claiming that there were these extremists in the military. So now this report is getting some traction, and let's see how much attention this debunking receives versus the original headlines from mainstream media. But, you know, now it really doesn't matter because we're not doing anything with all of the information that we have. So that means it doesn't matter how much truth comes out. It doesn't matter what people say. You know, we're now just, it's kind of like a rogue nation with an awful lot of rogue individuals or robotic individuals who are just listening to outrageous lies like this guy coming out lying every day, or his press secretary lying every day, and we know that it's a lie. A whole lot of Americans know it's a lie, but we just accept it. Silence and not holding liars accountable is acceptance.
I cut the national debt by $1.7 trillion. We literally cut the federal debt in half by $1.4 trillion. $1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion cut. We cut the debt by $1.7 billion in the last 2 years. Let me say that again. $1.7 trillion. I reduced the budget by $1.7 billion. Reduce the debt. We cut the federal debt in half. Fact. In the first 2 years of my administration, I cut the debt by $1.7 trillion. $1.7 billion. $1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion. $7 billion. $1.7 trillion. $1.7 billion. It's a trillion dollars. Not billion, trillion dollars. $1.7 trillion. You hear me? No one's ever reduced the debt that much.
Well, Trump was doing the same lies. It truly is remarkable. Truly. It's scary, remarkable. And yeah, okay, things going a little haywire. This is a judge in Las Vegas, and here she is denying probation to a career felon. That's the coffee machine, but look what happens.
But I think it's time that he gets a taste of something else, because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court... Oh, fuck that bitch! Hey! Whoa, 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 hey! Whoa! Hey! 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 Judge, man! What the fuck wrong with you? But I think it's time that he gets a...
Wow. Okay. That's a rather traumatizing event for that judge. Gotta wonder why he wasn't in handcuffs. Something's, yeah, not quite right. And here, Compton, California, a guy rams truck into the back, well, reverses into a bakery. People are, how do you like your Americans? And I'm going to play this. This was Joe Rogan. And they're talking about Yuri Bezmenov.
I know you appreciate all of the craziness that's been happening in academia in terms of I watched Yuri Bezmenov. I know you talk a lot about him and the defector. And I feel like he must be psychic or something, because what he describes in terms of ideological subversion and how to control basically an entire generation by going through academics and teaching them at a young age how to think, what to think more specifically, and how to then get people to a place where they can't agree on what objective reality is. That's essentially what's happening on university campuses. So for myself, having come through academia, finishing my PhD, realizing that I wouldn't be able to stay there and do legitimate research anymore, and so I have to come on I have to come on the biggest podcast in the world. I'm very excited and grateful to be here, but I'm like, why don't I just do my own research and do it this way and not have to be constrained by a particular way of thinking, or knowing I have to find certain things with my research in order for it to be published. And if it does get published and it goes against what activists want you to say, it's going to get pulled. Your funding is going to get pulled. You're going to end up homeless anyway. So might as well just go straight from A to B.
The Yuri Bezmenov interview from, I think it was 84?
Yeah.
Is so crazy, because back then, I'm sure people were like, come on, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
This is not. But if you look at it now in 2023, like, he was telling the truth. He has to have been telling the truth. And that the Soviet Union had planned this out for generations, and that they knew that this was going to be a 10, 20, 30-year project. And it's been successful. And the fact that these academics, these people that we count on to think for us, we count on to be, the shining light of intellectual discourse, they have completely fallen captive to everything that he described, and that they are sending that out into the world, this mind virus, and essentially eroding all of our confidence in government, all our confidence in civil discourse, all of our confidence in our ability to get along and to understand objective reality. It's crazy that what he was saying is exactly what happened.
And let's play a little bit of that interview.
He was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled, because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. The next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. You can see it in Central America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The time bomb is ticking with every second. The disaster.
The time bomb is
He was educated.
ticking. And 2024 is going to be crisis after crisis after crisis. And then the normalization will come probably after martial law or during martial law. And holy driver, I have to ask you, what the hell are you doing here? Why? I don't understand. If people don't like what I post, why do they keep coming? Why? Are you masochistic? God. Yikes. Oh, he left a comment, or she left, who the hell knows, about this. And it's not just tonight. There are other comments from Holy Driver. What are you doing here? Save yourself the pain and stop coming to the live streams. I'm trying to help you. So I'm going to read some of this article here, 2024, the year global government takes shape. And I will link below to it. But I'm just going to read really like the first half of it. Global government is the end game. We know that. Total control of every aspect of life for every single person on the planet. That's the goal. That's been apparent to anyone paying attention for years, if not decades. Members of the establishment started outright saying it, and this thing right here marked an acceleration of the globalist agenda, a mad dash to the finish line that seems to have lost momentum short of victory. But the race is still going. The goal has not changed, even if the years since may have seen the agenda retreat slightly back into the shadows. No, they're still at it. We know what they want conceptually, but what does that mean practically? What does a potential global government actually look like? I thought this part was interesting. So first off, let's talk about what we're not going to see. It's kind of like what Americans believe they're still living in. The United States, as it used to be, but they're not recognizing that it has, well, I want to say significantly changed. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's an obvious criminal government in Washington, D.C., in local government, in state governments. It's no longer a country ruled by law, unless you're just an ordinary American peon and happen to do something that you didn't even know was illegal, but boom, right? It's gone. That constitutional republic, that was destroyed a whole long time ago. The elections, everything is just fraud, fraud, fraud. Corruption, fraud. That's how this country now operates. Treason? Wow. I mean, so many people are just into treason when they're in these powerful positions that Americans think that they put them there and they represent us. It's all obvious now that it's all destroyed. Okay. Well, the same subtleties that go unnoticed by a whole lot of humanity has also taken place, and it will continue to take place. So what we're not going to see, they are not going to declare themselves. There will almost certainly never be an official, quote-unquote, world government, at least not for a long time. Putting a name and a face on globalism only foments collective resistance to it. They're not going to abolish nationhood. Sovereignty will be abolished, but people will still believe that they're living in their nation. You can be sure Klaus Schwab or whoever isn't ever going to appear simulcast on every television in the world announcing that we're all citizens of the world now and that nation states no longer exist. In part because that is likely to focus resistance, but mainly because tribalism and nationalism are a useful tool. It's too useful to all would-be manipulators of public opinion. And of course, The continuing existence of nation states in no way precludes the existence of a supranational control system, any more than the existence of Rhode Island, Florida, or Texas precludes the existence of a federal government that has usurped the powers of the states. So constitutional republic, bye-bye, no longer. RIP, rest in peace. And what I'm reading is that's already been established. That supranational control system is operating already. There will never be an overt declaration of a change of system. We will not be told we are united under a new model. Instead, the illusion of regionality and superficial variance will camouflage a lack of real choice across the political landscape. A thin polysystemic skin stretched tight over a monosystemic skeleton. Capitalism, communism, socialism, democracy, tyranny, monarchy. These words will steadily dilute in meaning even more than they have already, but they will never be abandoned. What globalism will bring us is a collection of nation states, largely in name only, operating superficially different systems of government, all built on the same underpinning assumptions and all answering to an unelected and undeclared higher authority. He writes, and if that sounds familiar, it's because it's essentially what we have already. The only major aspects missing are the mechanisms by which this rough model can be transformed into a flowing network. The three main pillars of global rule: digital money, digital ID, climate action. Okay, so I'll put the link in again if you want to read more of this very good article. It's already happening. So for all of those, who I guess are in need of injection of hopiness, I don't go there. Sorry. I'm too much of a realist. I'm firmly planted in reality. And our reality is very grim already. And it's only going to get worse. So I see an awful lot of people that are still so stuck in the matrix, claiming to be awake and believing that we are actually winning? Really? Wow. I don't see it. So, that's unfortunate. And yes, the Jeffrey Epstein documents unsealed today, so a whole lot of people are on it. Hundreds of pages released from a lawsuit connected to Epstein. The documents are expected to include nearly 200 names, including some of Epstein's accusers, prominent business people, politicians, and potentially more. We'll see. But we have bigger concerns. Not that this whole Epstein Island, Lolita Express, all of the children who have been so harmed by it. I'm not saying that that's not important, but our border, that's gonna get us big time. So let's look into it. And it ain't pretty. And unfortunately, we have an awful lot of Americans who do not care. They don't care. They still want to remain willfully ignorant. And today, I went and my neighbor, who just turned 82, said that and I said this in the live last night, but I didn't have the information totally correct. What she saw on the news was somebody walking on a back road around here, in Arizona, and illegal migrants robbed and shot the guy who was not a migrant. There's an awful lot of crimes taking place. And look at this. All right, so just in New York, Manhattan scooter robbery pattern, and I have on my lives shown all of the scooters, brand new scooters, that are lining up outside hotels for the migrants. Taxpayer money, buying scooters for illegal migrants. Okay. So, here, it was reported to police that on Friday, December 15, 2023, at approximately 8:40, there was a victim, a 38-year-old female, was approached by two unknown individuals riding a dark-colored moped. The individuals forcibly removed the victim's purse, causing her to fall to the ground, and then they just fled. Okay, incident 2. Incident 2, Monday, December 18. A 37-year-old male was walking down the street. Two unknown individuals riding a dark-colored moped. The individuals attempted to forcibly remove a bag from the victim's shoulder and then fled on the moped. Okay, my lights are flickering, and that makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because I've had electric problems, heat problems. Okay, so a 22-year-old female at 8:40, walking down 8th Avenue and West 53rd Street. I know these areas, so I'm like, wow. So, again, two unknown individuals riding a dark-colored moped. They forcibly removed the victim's wallet and fled on their mopeds. Another incident. And here are the moped bandits. Okay. New York City. The New York City migrant crisis, Mayor Adams doubles down on the executive order.
Management agency reported that nearly 400 migrants on 10 different buses arrived in the state since Saturday. The mayor of Edison now says he's chartering his own buses to send them right back to the southern border.
We're going to pivot and shift and be prepared to send the right message to these bus operators.
Mayor Adams is doubling down on his new executive order, which restricts how and when buses carrying migrants can enter the city. The problem is, according to City Hall,
not one bus from Texas has complied.
Bus operators are using a loophole to drop off Big Apple-bound asylum seekers outside of the city and then buying them train tickets back in to avoid being fined or sued. It's happening across several New Jersey cities and suburbs. Buses have dropped off migrants at Secaucus Junction, just a quick ride away from Midtown Manhattan, as well as Edison and Trenton. Governor Murphy said in a statement, New Jersey is primarily being used as a transit point for these families. All or nearly all of them continued with their travels en route to their final destination of New York City. We are closely coordinating with our federal and local partners on this matter, including our colleagues across the Hudson. Adams, in the meantime, says the city is exploring all of its legal options, including getting the NYPD involved. and is encouraging New Jersey municipalities to implement similar executive orders.
We're going to be extremely calculative in how we do it, utilize our manpower, resources, utilize our executive orders powers to not just be stagnant. And we coordinated and communicated with the municipalities in the area, and they should all do the same, EO.
Governor Hochul, who hasn't always seen eye to eye with Mayor Adams over the migrant crisis, even voiced her support.
With respect to the New Jersey situation, I absolutely support what the mayor did. I thought it made sense, and also, it may be necessary for our neighboring states to do the same.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who has been sending the buses to sanctuary cities like New York and Chicago, told Fox News the sheer hypocrisy of these Democrat mayors knows no bounds. They are now going to extreme lengths to avoid fulfilling their self-declared sanctuary city promises, yet they remain silent as President Biden transports migrants all around the country and oftentimes in the cover of night. Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul have both been very vocal about this and criticized the federal government for not doing enough to support the crisis. Now, the White House did say just yesterday that it's been in touch with mayors and governors in the northern part of the country and will provide more resources if needed. For now, though, we're live here outside.
Oh, it's such a mess. It is such a mess. It's a big mess. Okay, my lights don't seem to be working quite right. It's a big mess. And now, did it say in that news broadcast? I'm telling you, I have to put the volume down so low that it's okay, and that I think New Jersey's going to send them back to Texas. Somebody's making a fortune on the contracts with government with these migrants. Big fortune. So, New York Mayor Adams warns immigrants will soon be sleeping on streets. Well, we've seen already that they're sleeping on streets. New Yorkers, you might want to do something. I don't know, but listen to this.
Border Patrol in the month of December processed more migrants entering the United States illegally than any month in the history of that agency. Why is that happening? How do you explain it?
So we are seeing the greatest number of displaced people, not only at our southern border, not only in the Western Hemisphere, but across the globe. You know, I am involved in bilateral and multilateral meetings with my counterparts from foreign countries in Europe, in Asia, in the Indo-Pacific, all over the world. In migration, the challenge of displaced people is a subject that comes up in every single conversation. We have the effects of climate change, poverty, increasing level of authoritarianism, the very many challenges that are at the root cause of the displacement of people around the world.
Border Patrol in the month of December processed more migrants.
Wow. Yeah, displaced people. Displaced people. It's not just, the United States dealing with this, but it's a whole lot of nations around the world. Why? Because it's a United Nations compact for migration, and a whole lot of countries around the world are signatories to that compact. This is deliberate. And I know you guys know it, but my God, it's so incredibly frustrating. Now, this is very low, but what the reporter asks, are you going to do anything about the southern border, Mr. President? Record number of migrants. Shouts out. Biden, well, we got to do something. Shuffles inside. And then he said something about give me the funds. How about the billions that you're sending off to Ukraine and to Israel? How about just those funds going to protect the border? This is the insanity that Americans listen to. You gotta give me the money I need to protect the border. Oh my God. Wow. Does that not infuriate you? It should, because the money, well, think about our priorities. War, while we're facing a national security crisis here at home that's going to bring a lot of that crisis that Yuri was talking about. And once again, here he is.
So we have taken action on the border, and we've taken action with respect to the challenges that cities across the country are facing. So
really? Action has been taken. Really? What's the action? Mayors have been screaming to the federal government, we need help, we need help. Border wide open. What's the action? This is the horseshit that Americans are fed every single day. They don't have respect for themselves enough to stand up and say no more. And yeah, the lying, wow. Yeah, here she is. Karine Jean-Pierre claims she never said the record border crisis was not unusual. Yeah, she did.
A couple weeks ago, you had said what we're seeing at the border isn't unusual, but in the month of December, there were more than 302,000 migrant encounters, the highest total for a single month ever reported. So does the administration concede that what we're seeing now is unusual?
What I said was, to be exact, is that what we're seeing at the U.S. is ebbs and flows in how many migrants arrive at the border. It's something that happens every year. It ebbs and flows. And what we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows. And we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border. And it's not unusual. This is an immigration system that has been broken for decades.
A couple weeks ago, you had said what we're seeing at the border isn't unusual.
Well, if it's been broken for decades, don't you have to wonder why? Republicans, Democrats couldn't get it together to fix it? Oh, the fix is easy, just enforcement of immigration law. That's it. But, so why is this going on? Why do Americans love to hear lies? Why? I want to know. Because it is very disturbing.
A new year, but the same migrant street releases continue in Nogales. Before noon today, over 250 migrants had already been dropped off by Border Patrol. KGUN 9's Adam Klepp speaks with a migrant from Africa who says he spent $15,000 to get to the U.S.
This is the fifth bus dropping off migrants on Tuesday morning in Nogales. Each bus holds around 50 people. So as apprehensions rise in the Tucson sector, there's more migrants being street released here in Nogales.
Buy the tickets online.
Okay.
Okay, the closest airport is the Tucson International Airport.
Okay. As soon as they're out of Border Patrol custody, migrants immediately start using their phones to book flights all across America.
Okay, you're going to Chicago. Chicago. Yeah.
The plane ticket to Chicago will be an additional cost.
Como 2,400.
I spent $2,400 to get to America.
Diego Preciado shows me his papers, which say he was apprehended near Lukeville on December 30th. Many of the other migrants here also illegally crossed the border in Lukeville.
Is that where you crossed the border? Yeah.
And Nogales is where I go shopping tomorrow. Oh, so some Republicans went down to the border today, and they saw a group of illegal immigrants from Venezuela trying to cross into Eagle Pass. I got this from a subscriber whom I'd like to thank. Yeah, this is not good. I'm going to play it because I posted it on Rumble. Let me play it from Rumble.
There's no other way.
No. 200,000 flew into our country. They came by plane. They bought a plane ticket from their home country, and they flew into 43 cities. And guess what? Here's the kicker. You're not going to believe this. It happened on an app that the Biden administration has. They were able to come in our country illegally by registering on a Biden administration app. That's how they did it. This is how damn bad it is. We have people coming in, planes, trains, automobiles, and boats, illegally invading America.
That we've been seeing a lot of UN vehicles on trains, but we haven't seen a UN army. He said that all these people that are coming across the border are going to be the UN army. That hit me like a ton of bricks.
They're mercenaries. They are UN soldiers. They are getting paid. This is their selection. This was their draft. Yeah.
Oh, let me see. And how much is anything on that card now at all? Any money?
These shipping containers that say UN. They're white shipping containers that say UN.
Now I'm in Alvin, Texas, and I had to go back to get my wife. I saw a legion of army, UN fucking plates, Apaches, tanks, standard vehicles, whatever, and an armament of fucking ammo. They left from Alvin, Texas. There's another train right behind it with the same amount of vehicles. They are wearing American colors on UN. UN is wearing American colors. Let that fucking sink in.
National Guardsmen stopped me at the door, and I said, "Hey, isn't this the Roosevelt Hotel?" And they said, "No, it's not the Roosevelt Hotel. This is no longer a hotel." I quote, "I'm going to walk down the street and show you that the National Guard, the Fed, has taken over the Roosevelt Hotel and several restaurants next to it."
All right, so that wasn't the greatest video. You know, I don't know why people put all of this stuff on and then have, I guess, it was an Instagram video. But I hope you listened carefully to what they were saying. And O'Keefe Media Group has a video up. I'm going to play a few minutes. It's about 13 minutes. I'll put the link in. But we've got an awful lot of people focusing on our migrant crisis and a whole lot of shady stuff taking place, kept secret from Americans, and O'Keefe and others, Hernando for sure, and others that I've shown are exposing it.
What's that?
How much you guys get? Nada, no digas nada.
No digas nada, give them nothing.
IRC is running this shelter. Red Cross doesn't give interviews on this shelter.
Are you transporting migrants to the airport, sir? Shut the door right in my face. You just called me a domestic terrorist for asking a question.
Hey, you got to leave, man. You got to leave.
I don't got to leave anywhere. This is a sidewalk.
You can leave now. We finished.
You just saw my number and he saw that. That's the kind of individual we're dealing with. And if you'd like, you can go talk to a judge and let him know that you're interested.
I'd like to have it on video.
All right, I'm going to put the link in again. Yeah. And a whole lot working this migrant invasion is... They have no qualms to just shut people up, confront them. This is one of those. And who? Joseph Trimmer. So this is Ben Bergwim, and Joseph got aggressively confronted by a militant leftist NGO at an illegal migrant distribution camp in San Antonio.
¿A dónde vas en Estados Unidos? Are you?
No hablen con ellos, no les digan nada.
Nosotros queremos a inmigrantes legales en el país. Hay un proceso y lo pueden seguir. ¿Que no, señora? ¿Usted cree que aquí puede entrar la gente como quiera, nada más porque sí, que no tiene leyes este país o qué?
Grace Martinez, she's running for Democratic Bexar County chair. Oh my God. She was the one doing the on the corner over there, and her husband was stalking me.
Señora, ¿qué no tiene vergüenza usted? ¿Qué no tiene vergüenza? ¿Por qué no le interesa nuestro país?
¿Pero no quieres sacar o qué? Mira, vecina. Madre, tome.
Sus lentes, señora.
No, quédate con ellos.
Sandra Grace Martinez, Democratic Party chair, aiding and abetting illegal aliens still. Why doesn't she go home? Why doesn't she tell these illegal aliens to go home?
Pluralistic ignorance, man.
Señora ignorante, ¿por qué no respeta las leyes de este país, señora?
What are you doing to stop them being trafficked? I mean, you're saying you're worried about them. What's going on out here?
¿Quiere estar en el gobierno esta señora?
You know, Democrats are tired of this stuff too.
Yep, they're fed up. That's what Chicago's doing. Democrats are fed up. They don't care about the color of your skin.
So we're live at 7,000
I'm happy that I got it right. I came up to you guys. Y'all said y'all were pressed.
Yeah, we
and
are.
This is not
running for a Democratic Bexar County chair, telling American media.
No, you're destroying the country.
No.
You're destroying the country. Shame on you.
How so, mister? I have a dialect from some other country.
Why do you always care about the color of people's skin and the way they sound? This is the left in a freaking nutshell. It's not about that. I am a U.S. citizen. Yeah, so what? So what? My dad took 15 years to immigrate legally into this country. Just because these people want to cheat doesn't mean they get to.
But they're asylum seekers. They
are
your government,
by leftists, by the United Nations,
have
on how to break
actually
our
allowed
asylum
them
law. Exactly, they've
here.
allowed them to invade.
So you go to
They've
your
allowed them.
congressman and you
90%.
let them know that they need to work on a better immigration bill.
No, they need to stop allowing Catholic Charities, Lutheran Social Services, and all of these leftist NGOs from breaking our asylum laws, bastardizing our asylum laws. That's what's happening. You're profiting.
So you're saying
you're
that
profiting off the
here,
exploitation.
That people here, you're believing that this is illegal?
Yes, 100%. This
How
is
so?
intentionally
Qualify that.
Because you're inviting people in who don't have a right to be here,
They
claiming
do have
fake
a right.
claiming fake asylum, knowing that 90% of
Fake
them
asylum?
won't qualify. Yes,
So
you're
who-
bastardizing the system, and you're actually hurting the people that really need asylum. There are people that come in that really need asylum, but because of what you guys are doing, profiting off this invasion, profiting off the rape of children, and the robbery of children and the murder of children, you're the opposite. You're the opposite of humanitarian.
I'm also a therapist.
You're the opposite.
You
You're
guys,
evil.
this
You're evil.
Señora, ¿qué no tiene vergüenza? Por favor, señora.
borderline personality.
Dios mío.
I'm also a therapist. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Just because your government's doing it doesn't mean that that government is doing it legally. Your government is doing it because it's treasonous. And then she has the gall to that's a fabulous term, pluralistic ignorance, claiming that more than one are ignorant. Who's ignorant? What a mess we are as a people. Just, it is flippin' amazing. And here, another NGO that is sucking off the taxpayer dime and doing it in your face with the middle finger.
Let's go another 60-passenger Isla de Capri Amusement doing business as Amigo Border Transit. Now that's an LLC that they created. Amigo Border Transit. Now are you telling me that they created that by accident, that LLC name? No. They did that purposely knowing that they're going to be transporting illegal aliens, as they call them, amigos, into the interior of our country. Right in your face, blatantly sticking in the middle finger in your face and saying, fuck you, we're coming, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
And that's absolutely true. And Abbott and his buddies are making a fortune because it's $5,000 a head. Every individual who walks on that bus, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Abbott gives the contract to his buddy. You think Abbott's not getting kickbacks? Oh, yeah. Speaker of the House, even. Mike Johnson comes down to Eagle Pass.
You know, our border's a river. Our border's a river, and by the way, a river is more difficult to defend.
Help me, please! Help me, please! Venezuela!
Here we are in Eagle Pass right now, and as you can see, we have some illegals crossing right here as we speak.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
Hey, this is a very small number. Hey, we had as much as one day as 3,500, and this a day here in Eagle Pass area. So 3,500 a day. You know, back in 2014, I talked about we would get 3,500 a week. That was a bad week. All of Texas. You know, we're about 3,500.
How many times do we have to see a congressional contingent come down to the border? This has been going on for years. For what? They didn't have to come down to the border anymore. There are so many videos they could have just seen and maybe done something about it. They're not doing anything. But they show up, right? Look, we're at the border. We're working hard for Americans. Are you really? No, I say, you're not. Because you haven't done anything for decades. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, you're all part of the show. Look, Americans, we're working for you. We're here at the border. But then they go back to Washington, D.C., and nothing happens. It's unbelievable. And the Lukeville port of entry closing, they're opening it again tomorrow, and I think that's interesting. So I think it's been closed for about a month, really hurting people who have businesses and they rely on the opening of that port of entry. But I've shown they did not close it to illegal migrants. They were still coming through. But to the residents on both sides who can, you know, legitimately cross the border, a whole lot in Mexico work in the United States, they were denied access to even their jobs. They closed the border for those residents, but not for illegal migrants. And why did they close the border? Because they needed those border agents to process the 80,000 migrants who came across the Arizona border. More than 80,000 in the month of December came across the Arizona border. None of this sounds like a country with officials who are doing the job of protecting the border and protecting American citizens. It's obvious. Do we need to do something? Here's this woman who has a business, and port of entry closing hurt her income bad.
All right, everybody. Adam here with Bernadette Nez. You are the manager of the Why Not travel store in Why Not, Arizona. When did you hear about the port reopening? What was your reaction?
We are very excited. We can't wait to see everybody. We're very anxious and we're ready for people to come back down.
And you said on your Facebook page, lots of people saying they're going to come?
Yes.
So expecting a busy day tomorrow.
We're hoping. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hoping for everything.
And let's scooch over here because this is the moneymaker.
Yeah.
Right?
It
The
is.
gas pumps.
Yep.
And you told me when I first interviewed you a month ago when the port closed, or when it was about to close, that you guys made $10,000 a day from gas sales. And that went down to what?
To $800.
$800 a day last week.
Yeah, within a couple of days, yeah.
So that's over a 90% loss in revenue.
Yeah.
So you had to cut hours, but now you said your employees are coming back full time.
Yes, they are. They are back now on full time.
And the same was true in Nogales. I don't know if they closed the pedestrian walk. Well, from what I hear from someone who's lived here for 50 years, they said that destroys businesses on both sides, and an awful lot of people walk across that port of entry in Nogales because they work in Nogales, Arizona, but they live in Mexico. So the whole migrant crisis made worse when you're closing off a port and those who are citizens or residents legitimately coming through get screwed. Unbelievable what we are doing in here. So Roosevelt Hotel, massive wave of migrants head into the hotel in the freezing cold.
Hola, hola. Hola, hola.
What we are doing is literally, it's suicidal. And here's this woman again. I'll post a link. I can't listen to her. She's just so, treasonous. That's what she is. She's the useful idiot thinking, maybe she's doing something good. And she's not. She's doing the work of all of the evil psychopaths who are destroying our country. Yay! And she's a therapist. And here, apparently, Hernando almost got run over.
How many illegals today? How many illegals you got today? You work for Catholic Charities? You work for Catholic Charities? El Dorado? Eres Coyote?
You're what back?
Eres Coyote?
You're a citizen.
You're
What
a
back? You're what? I am a citizen. I'm citizen.
Where are you from?
Yeah, aquí, motherfucker.
Where are you from?
You're what back?
¿De dónde eres?
What back? Eres
¿De
mojado.
dónde eres?
Eres mojado, vienes de la selva.
Este trabaja para el
Vienes de
cartel.
la
Este
selva.
trabaja para el cartel.
Vienes de la selva.
Este
Yo soy
trabaja
tu
para el
papá.
cartel.
Soy tu papá.
You work for the cartel.
Eres mojado. Eres mojado. Vete para tu
He works for the cartel, the Mexican cartel. The Catholic Charities.
Vete para Yongo.
He works for the Sinaloa cartel. Fernando Oeste for God and Country. There he comes. That was almost, he almost wanted to hit me.
Well, you know, I noticed in South Carolina the maintenance of this apartment complex that I was living in. And these maintenance men, who were illegal immigrants, there was a real big attitude shift from all of, you know, the other illegal migrants that I had met along the way. You know, they kind of kept quiet. They were very, they weren't rude. They didn't bring attention to themselves. There was a massive shift. And this was, I don't know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago. I was amazed. I was amazed. They didn't care at all because they knew nothing was going to happen to them. And they did an awful lot of crap to tenants. Good but chilly morning from Lukeville. You know, it still goes on.
Good morning, everybody. Adam Klepp here in Lukeville. At this spot, there's a small group of migrants right now. It's smaller than I have seen, obviously, here over the last month. Temperatures, though, pretty cold. The wind is blowing. Migrants resorting to making these fire pits to keep warm. This is Jose from Nicaragua. He says he's going to Miami, and many of these migrants say they've just been waiting here all night long for Border Patrol to come and apprehend them. Seems like the...
And we still have coming up, oh God, how many thousands? Like 30,000 a caravan? Don't quote me on that number. So, the only thing that Corrine said that was right was that it ebbs and flows. So they're opening up the Lukeville port of entry because it's ebbing, but it's gonna flow one more time. But when you think about the numbers that we have already, and special interest people, suspected terrorists, the gotaways, and all of those who have just been given court dates for 2027, 28, 29, 2030. Okay. Well, we have enough already in our country to cause a whole lot of crises all over the country. All over.
Here are migrants making a cross into the United States, just feet from House Republicans press conference. Feet. That's House Republicans, including Mike Johnson. And those are migrants who have just crossed into the United States from Mexico, including little children.
So you have all of these people from Congress, you have the House Speaker there, and you have these migrants crossing, Border Patrol helping them, and nobody does anything. It's, yeah, okay, this is good, huh? California hospitals slammed as illegal immigration costs soar. I'm going to read much of this article because Americans, you have to start doing something. Some hospitals in Southern California are struggling with an influx of illegal immigrants amid the border crisis, while American patients are enduring longer wait times for doctor appointments due to a nursing shortage in the state. Healthcare worker at a hospital in Southern California who asked not to be named for fear of losing her job. This is what she said, the entire healthcare system is just being bombarded by a steady stream of illegal migrants in recent years. Some migrants get hurt crossing the desert or injured climbing the border wall. while others are injured in accidents, especially when too many occupants are packed into one vehicle. Severely injured illegal migrants are often rescued by helicopters and flown to trauma centers in Southern California. They're falling off the wall. They're always flown. They're never put in the back of an ambulance, with a typical helicopter rescue costing $30,000 without factoring in the costs of medication and medical staff at the hospitals. Who pays for that? Hey, you're so generous, Americans. Our healthcare system is so overwhelmed, and then add on top of that a whole lot of diseases, tuberculosis, other diseases from all over the world. Okay, well, we're in good shape, huh? Not everybody can speak the languages of these patients. That's another burden. Hospitals need to hire either translators or staff that can speak all of the languages of the patients crossing the border from dozens of different countries. Nobody wants to see somebody in pain or hurting in need of medicine, but at the same time, it's at the expense of others. Taxpayers who are ultimately footing the bill. Patients often have their doctor's appointments pushed back. Citizens, residents, have their appointments pushed back to accommodate the medical needs of illegal migrants. They get in a lot quicker than our veterans and retired military patients. They get in a lot faster, and they get the best care, probably better care, than the VA patients do. Typically, VA patients usually wait months to be seen by a specialist, while illegal migrants who just cross the border, are seen the same week. I've seen that firsthand. We hear it from VA patients all day, every day. When Border Patrol agents bring patients to the hospitals, there is an air of secrecy that follows them. No one is allowed to talk to the media or public about why they are there or how they got there. We keep them in this bubble of protection, which is a wrong approach. We should let the public know. Government is using patient privacy as a shield to hide what they're doing. Patient privacy is a priority in the healthcare field, but when it comes to illegals, it's branching off into elitism or protected class. Okay, there's more. Where's the transparency? There is no transparency. An experienced doctor in Southern California didn't want to say anything for fear of retaliation. That's when you are living in a tyranny. You're not living in a free country anymore. People are afraid to speak up and give their name. He said it's just outrageous and the burden of care on hospitals is overwhelming. He also said he is concerned about the secrecy surrounding non-government organizations or NGOs that are being paid to provide services to illegal migrants. Where's the transparency? There is no transparency. Amid a statewide shortage of primary care doctors and nurses, the doctor said 3 nurse practitioners he trained at his practice were recruited with better pay and benefits to work at the ICE detention center in El Centro. A lot of nurse practitioners are being pulled from us. Increasingly, more patients are going to urgent care clinics because they can't get in to see their primary care doctors. There is a huge shortage of primary care in Imperial County. Appointment times are weeks to months out. Border cities are having to deal with the influx without having the resources. When you take from the resources that are currently available, you're depriving the community of those resources. The unintended result is a backup in the system. Unintended? No. Intended. So, diseases and injuries, TB, measles, okay. Border Patrol agents said their job-related injuries have gone through the roof. He's also noticed an increase in the number of agents with mental health problems related to stress and anxiety. and on and on and on and on. So, what the hell are we doing? We know damn well that no politician's going to, not even Trump, if you're going to wait for your savior, if the election actually goes on, you're waiting a long time. And while you wait, there's going to be an awful lot of destruction taking place. You might be destroyed. You might be attacked. Yeah. But wait for your saviors. You are your savior. Yep. And I guess, on the whole, Americans want what they're living now and what is to come. Because everything's out there now. Yeah. You know, you can't claim denial. Because really, if you do that, you're very mentally ill. So, what we do have in our control is how we operate on a daily basis, help those who are in need. Please. And I am going to put my Rumble account, the link to my Rumble, because, oh God, hell, I don't even know how to get to it. But I'm going to start posting on Rumble. I do hope that you click on the link and follow, because YouTube is playing around with me and I'm not liking it. And for me to lose, again, an awful lot of subscribers will hurt. Is this because I want a whole big number of subscribers and I'm promoting my channels? No. It's because I'm hurting. And I don't have anyone to talk to. And I don't see anyone. And I live in this tin can. That I saw somebody leave it was Forever Flowers leaving, you know, like a, kind of telling me that I should be grateful for having roof over my head. Huh. Stop telling people to be grateful. Am I grateful for those who donated to GoFundMe and PayPal? You betcha. Very. Because they have allowed me to live. And unfortunately, it seems that I might just have another 2 or 3 months of paying, grateful to live in a place that I can't stand. And I'm paying nearly $1,200 a month. That's like telling an elderly person who has lived in their home, you know, for 20 years, renting an apartment. You be grateful that you're being kicked out because you actually have a far worse place to live. You be grateful. It's like telling somebody, you know, I mean, Americans, I'm sorry. There's something very wrong. You know, do I feel like I'm being screwed with how much rent I have to pay? Yeah, I am being screwed. Am I grateful for all those who have donated that allow me to actually pay the rent? Yes, absolutely. But I don't like the greed. And in this area, it has a lot to do with the miners who keep this place afloat. Not this place, but the town that I'm living in. Because there's an awful lot of these miners that have driven up the price of everything. So now everything is very expensive. Stop telling people to be grateful for the shit that they have. That's got to stop. You have to begin to recognize that a whole lot of people now are freaking out and suffering and like, what the hell do you do? And I'm not saying, if anybody feels grateful, go. Yeah, that's fine. I do feel grateful. I feel grateful for L78. I feel grateful for Marty Lauderdale. I feel grateful for Sherry Hughes. I feel grateful for Cynthia Johnston. I feel grateful for everybody that shows up. I feel grateful for those who have donated. Because you are keeping me alive. No joke. Do I want to get back to my familiar? Yes. Do I need it? Absolutely. Leave the country and come back illegally. But when I see some comments and I think to myself, God, what are they like out in the world and how they operate and how they don't know how to give solace to people who are really hurting. That's upsetting. I can take it. I'm on my 14th year of being attacked by an awful lot of subscribers. Who cares? But it's how they operate. So, yeah, do we need to change? Do we need to really just listen to people when they're hurting and not tell them what they should be feeling? That's a change I'd like to see. Anyway, I so appreciate everybody who, even those who leave the comments that get to me. I appreciate everybody who has, shown up. Did I even put the link to my Rumble account? I can't even remember now. But, and you can bet that I do not take for granted the donations that I get from people. I don't take it for granted at all. And I am very grateful and appreciative of anybody who donates because it allows me to live, to eat, to feed my cats. That's really important. And I very much appreciate it. I don't know what's happening with the lights here. But, oh, I guess I did. I'll put it in again. So I do hope that you come over and follow me on Rumble, because I have to do something during the day. I can't do this, and it's very hard for me now because it is just watching a rapid decline of life itself. But I'm going to start doing lives on Rumble in the afternoon, Not entirely sure when I'm going to start it, but it's going to be within the next couple of days. And then YouTube at the regular hour that I come on. But I want to get comfortable with Rumble. So I'm going to start doing that. Something's in the water. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever comment you left, I didn't even see it. So, yeah. Bring your best self. Bring your best self to life every single day. Make sure that your awareness, you're raising it. Your surroundings, for sure. Your own self. What you say to people. How you behave. All of that kind of stuff. And yeah, don't cause mishigas in people's life, because there's too much going on. And there's an awful lot of people who you'll think are not awake at all, but subconsciously a whole lot of people know something's terribly wrong, even if they don't know the specifics. And that subconscious knowing brings about a lot of stress. Then recognize all of the stress from the electromagnetic frequencies that a whole lot of people are saturated in, and not knowing who they are, boom, you can say one thing to them and trigger a whole drama. Boy, would I like the drama to stop. Anyway, thank you for showing up. And yeah, every one of you I appreciate. I don't take you for granted at all. And on that note, I say good night and good luck, guys. Ciao.